Welcome to the Church Solutions Podcast, brought to you by JSL Solutions. The Church Solutions Podcast is designed to help equip you and your church in the use of technology and other tools and services. And now, here are your hosts, Steve Lacy and Phil Thompson.
Welcome to another edition of the Church Solutions Podcast, our very first podcast for 2017.
Hi, my name is Steve Lacy.
And I'm Phil Thompson. We are back after a little bit of a break because of the holidays. Steve doing his skiing trip in Colorado.
Yes, went with the family.
How'd that go?
It was awesome. Family and spouses and girlfriends.
Wow. How many girlfriends do you have? Just a joke.
Counting my wife.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us, folks. We're a company called JSL Solutions. We provide technology for churches, ministries. Streaming video is one of those things. Mobile apps is another one. Content management is another one, and lots of other things in between. If we have time, we'll talk about that. But today we're going to talk about giving.
Yes.
We actually
called State of the Plate.
State of the Plate. I actually snatched this. It's actually an article that I snatched by Brian Kluth, I guess, and he is a bestseller. He's a speaker, bestseller, founder of the State of the Plate Research.
All right.
I don't know what that means, but I'm an author too. I don't know if I'm best-selling. What constitutes a best-selling author?
If your kids and family think you're a best-selling author, you are a best-selling author.
New York Times or anything? All right. All right. So we're going to talk about giving, but there are some interesting stats here, which I think are very interesting.
Yeah, some of them surprised me as I was looking through this prior to our recording.
We are actually questioning some of these stats, but there may be some validity to those things. So State of the Plate surveyed nearly 1,600 pastors and leaders and lay people to assess the current state of giving when it comes to churches in America.
And that may be the source of our discrepancy here, because it said it surveyed pastors and leaders. Yeah. And as we know, pastors and leaders are going to be much more generous with they're much more biblically observant than the lay people.
That's true. And so some of these stats may be okay. But so this is research down here and all across the United States in 2016. So it's pretty timely. And over the findings of this thing, he has revealed that the survey has revealed a dramatic shift in giving over the past 3 years. And so it's compared to the last time they did a survey, which I guess was 2013.
Yeah.
And so what they're basically saying is giving has flatlined or it's decreased for the majority of those that were surveyed, which has a lot of churches kind of scrambling here to come up with some answers or some solutions to help this. So we've got some key findings from this plate survey. So you want to just jump into this and we'll talk about it?
So this first one we talked about, is the giving has been flatlined or decreasing.
Right.
And that's kind of the first stat. It talks about only 41% of the churches showed a giving increase by 5% or more.
Which means 59%
saw the decrease. Yes.
Yeah, flatliner went down. So 59 flatlined or decreased, but according to this, only 41% saw an increase in giving.
By 5% or more, which is good.
Yeah, that's good.
For those.
For them, yeah. And then the other one is 79% of churches surveyed offered website giving. That's up from 29% in 2010.
So that's a big jump, 50 points in 6 years.
Yeah.
So, and I know that as we deal with customers and potential customers, they're all very interested in how to set up their website giving on the streaming platform.
Right. 46% offer cell phone or some kind of app or text giving, and that's up from 4% in 2010. So that's a big increase, isn't it? 46% offer cell phone or app giving, up from 4%. So that's a big jump.
6 years ago,
Yeah. And then the other survey or the other stat here we have is that 32% have kiosk or iPad ways in which people can give. So, Steve, what is a kiosk?
So, my understanding is kiosk. It's how can we use it? It's a terminal that's in the lobby. A lot of times, it's just either an iPad or a computer screen that's kind of locked up, except for giving. Now, this kind of surprises me that, and maybe I don't get out as much as I should. But 32% are having the kiosks in the lobby. It seems really high to me.
Well, that's from the 1,600 pastors, leaders, and lay people. So
yeah, but this would be accurate in that 32% have kiosks. I can see where the pastors or giving numbers will be increased, but
right.
I don't know. And I would have anticipated it to be lower, but I guess I haven't visited a bunch of different churches. I don't think I've ever been to another church that had a kiosk in the lobby. I don't know.
I'm trying to remember if maybe I saw one in Kansas City one time. That was years ago, so I don't know.
But it's much easier today to set that up.
It's very easy. Yeah, very easy. Okay. All right. Well, that stat is debatable. The other one is generous churches giving is not limited to the older generations, according to this. And he says, and this is a stat that you're disputing, 63% of those in their 20s and 30s give 10% or more to their church.
Yeah, that sounds really surprising. So
you're surprised. I'm surprised about that as well.
I mean, I'm not disputing that the giving varies that much between the generations, but it based on my exposure, because being a former board member and part of the whole, looking at all the finances and the giving and stuff, the average giving was really low.
Right. Well, and I've been an executive pastor and actually currently am a part-time executive pastor for a church of about 100 people. Yeah. And I would verify what you're saying.
I would venture to say if half the people in the church tithed, you'd more than double the church's annual.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's true.
Giving. So this kind of looks suspect to me that 63% are tithing.
We questioned Brian Kluth. Is that how you say it? Kluth? Kluth. Maybe we should just call this guy and interview him. All right. 41% of those surveyed said that they give weekly, while 46% give once or twice a month. I could see that. As a stat. The other one here is the top 5 reasons for missing church services are, and what does this have to do with giving? Well, we'll get to that in a moment. But the top 5 reasons that people give for missing church services: out of town, 74%, sickness, 42%, serving during the worship service, 16%, social commitments, 13%, and had to work, 14%. So those are the excuses people give. In my church, social commitments probably is like 74%, not 13%. Wow. It just depends. So why are we sharing this stat? Well, we'll get to this in a moment. This is what we pulled off of the state of the plate deal here. So anyhow, keep that in the back of your mind here because there's a reason for that. Right. So anyhow, moving on.
So as we move on, I mean, the kind of the focus of this talk is kind of the shift in how people are giving.
Right.
And more and more people are shopping and paying their bills online.
Right.
And so those attending church want to have the very same kind of services that are offered, through that. Yet the number one way that churches collect their donations today is by passing the bucket.
Yeah. We are way behind if you do church stuff.
And it's hard to put your cell phone in the bucket or...
Well, I think, and you're bringing up a real good point here, and that's what this is what this little deal is all about, okay, is that the idea here is that we have got to get up to date and actually make it easier for people to give because people are giving.
Yeah, they're giving online. It's kind of funny. I've got a related story to this vacation.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Our Uncle Bob is in town, and my kids are in their 20s, and they're all big sports fans. And so there was as the Dodgers were approaching the playoffs. My Uncle Bob lives in L.A. and he's a big-time Dodgers fan.
Okay.
And they lost one game. I can't remember who he was with, but he had planned on them coming back strong. Right. And he placed a bet with one of my kids, saying, "I bet you $40 that they take the whole series." Anyway, long story short, he lost the bet, and he was trying to. He said, "Well, I need to get you the money." He goes, "I don't want to mail cash, so can I mail you a check?" And my son's just going, "No, just don't worry about it. When you come in town, you can give me the cash." So, my son, with all his friends, 99% of the transactions they do is either through Venmo or PayPal, and so they're constantly every week just here you go, you owe me $5, or you owe me $10.
Right.
And even with my son, he would send me and I'd send him money online. But Uncle Bob is not of that generation, and so we had to wait for the cash transfer. Where Uncle Bob would work great in the church pew when they pass the plate because he's got cash or a check.
Right.
But for my son, he's like, I don't carry cash. I don't have a check. They need to offer something that is convenient and easy for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So the research here, and this is according to our expert here, indicates that the need for digital giving solutions is something that's increasingly important for churches. And I would totally agree with that, especially as younger generations, as you just mentioned. If you want the younger generation to give, then you really need to do that. In fact, when you talk to the younger generation, according to this stat, only 14% really want envelopes in the pews. And 68% want something digital, like the iPad or the kiosk deal that we mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. 21% are interested in online giving on the website, and I could concur that. And the other one is 54% want cell phone text giving options.
Right. And I could see that increasing as we go forward. And I would think one of the biggest challenges for the kiosk piece is privacy. Yeah. Because it's typically in a foyer, and there's a couple of things you don't want people to see your bank account card info being put in, and you also don't want people to see what you're giving. So
you would need to put that. You need to set it up some way in some kind of a setting.
So there was some privacy with it, kind of like set up like an ATM where people give people space.
Yeah. Something like that would be good. But I think that's true. And, of course, JSL Solutions, we do provide mobile apps. Just look for churchapplive.com. And that's how I give to my church, is I just pull up the mobile app, and I just use that feature on the mobile app. Our church actually has an account with PayPal. Mm-hmm. And we have that online, too. If people can go to online and they want to give online, we have people do that all the time. The other option too is what some people do, and that is they just set it up where they, I pay all my bills online. There's just a couple exceptions maybe, but so through my bank account, I have a deal called Bill Pay.
Right, everyone. I think everybody does.
Everybody does now. Not everybody uses it, but so I just have everything. Some of it's auto pay, and some of it, like I get an electric bill comes in the mail. I generally get to it within the same day, pull up the bank account, and bang, I'm done within 3 minutes, maybe less. And you can do that with your church, too. You could set up your church where you can just kind of make it a bill, so to speak, set it up like a bill and just pay your church either automatically, or if you want to just go in manually to your bank account and you're done. So there's options out there, and part of the reason we do this Church Solutions podcast is, we are a tech company, and we're encouraging churches and ministries to, get on board.
Right. And one of the things that we do at our church that has paid off is we have pre-printed postage-paid envelopes that we hand out with the our activity guide, or whatever.
Yeah, I was part of that deal when we set that up. Yeah.
So it was. It pays for itself. You just pay. You pay for the postage when the postage is used, and we also have it set up so that you can enter some electronic funds transfer things and set up electronic funds transfer on a recurring basis and that sort of thing. So it's convenient for people when you get home and you forgot a check or whatever. But that's one of another idea that you can implement. And I think it will just about always pay for itself.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. We haven't done that where I'm at now, but I have thought a little bit about that. But yeah, so I think it's good. So you can take these numbers that we just threw out. You can take them or leave them, I guess. But it's called State of the Plate by Brian Kluth, I guess, Kluth. And their big push is to try to get you to probably sign up with, what's it called, Tithely or something?
Yeah, a mobile and web-based.
Yeah, and so that's, that's an option. That's something you could certainly do. But I do agree with the premise, and that is people, you want to make it as easy as possible for people to give and to donate.
Right, and the fact is that the way people pay their bills and do their commerce today is shifted online, and the church needs to be there.
Yeah, it really does. It really is. Okay, all right, good. All right, well, we are pretty much done here. So we'd love to get your feedback on this. What do you think about this? Do you think moving towards giving online or digital giving is the way to go, or do you have strong disagreements on this? Do you think no, we just need to keep putting cash in the offering and all that? Well, we'd love to hear from you. Just send us an email, support@StreamingChurch.tv. Speaking of StreamingChurch.tv, what is it?
StreamingChurch.tv provides online, live, and on-demand streaming for churches.
And we have Church App Live, which you can go to churchapplive.com, which I just kind of snuck in there. But you can use the mobile app for all sorts of things, not just giving online, but prayer board, church management stuff, watching archives, listening to archives, those kind of things. And we also have myflock.com, which is a great little tool that not only provides website templates if you want them, but also has church management systems. So talking about money, you can enter, you can, if you're if you're an administrator or something, you can set up, people that give, you can keep records of all that good stuff and print receipts and all that good stuff. So, keep that in mind, myflock.com. We also have greeter.church, which is the world's best kept secret. So just go to greeter.church and you'll learn more about it. That's the website address, greeter.church. All right, we're done. So my phone's ringing, so I will get out of here. He is Steve Lacy. I am Phil Thompson. This has been the Church Solutions Podcast. Thank you for spending some time with us. We hope that you have a great 2017, and we will catch you next week for another edition of the Church Solutions Podcast. Take care.